Hi everyone and welcome to another week of Polyglots of the Week. Today we're playing Russian or... Okay, so maybe it's not a great title. But this is actually a topic that came up on Facebook in a group that I'm in about various forms of Cyrillic and modifications of the Cyrillic alphabet and how to identify, is this Russian, is this, Bulgarian, is this Kazakh, is this, I don't know, is this a session? Is it, old, like Azeri written before the Latin Reform, etc., etc. And it's actually sort of an interesting skill to have, being able to identify the differences. That way, when you see people and they're just like, oh look, it's Russian. No, it's not Russian. It's not. And not just, I guess, like to be a jerk like that, but it's honestly, I guess, I think it's useful to have. And it's useful to realize that not everything written in Cyrillic is Russian. Not everything written in Cyrillic is even Slavic. So I'm going to go through some of the more major ones. There are a lot of languages that use Cyrillic, so I just don't have the time to go through every single one. You can Google that stuff, Wikipedia that. I think I'm going to do it more by like groups, like, okay, a lot of the Central Asian languages have these particular letters to them, or Northeast Caucasian generally do this, Northwest Caucasian do this, other Slavics add this, etc., etc. So we're going to look at some typical letters and help you be like, oh look, no, that's not Russian, that is indeed, Kyrgyz, or that is indeed Uzbek written before the Latin Reform, or, something like that. So, let's go. Okay, so this is sort of your standard Cyrillic alphabet, particularly the one used for Russian, so A, B, V, G, D, Y, Yo, G, Z, E, and then Yot, but it has a name, K, L, M, N, O, P, R, S, T, U, F, G, or F, G, C, Ch, Sh, J, the hard sign, soft sign, A, U, Ya. So this is the standard. I will point out, though, that before we start going into other ones, I'm not looking at so much that, oh, okay, well, the gay symbol is actually pronounced like R in Ukrainian or something. I'm just looking purely at orthography, and these are new symbols that exist in this language or in this language, etc., etc. So, let's look at our first group. Any guesses? Thoughts? Maybe? Okay, well look at that, you were right, it's Slavics. Russian is East Slavic, but so is Belarusian and Ukrainian. And you'll see that they add this extra sign that looks like the Latin I. Belarusian has the Y, or the U with the the short symbol above it, and they both use apostrophes instead of the hard sign. Once we get into South Slavics, we have a lot of the soft vowels are dropped, and then we pick up a lot of these new letters. Honestly, I'm not a specialist in Slavic, so I can't go into too much detail on these, so that's all I can sort of say. But some of these signs are very particular. For example, this one that looks like a gay with a line coming up out of it, I've only, as far as I'm aware, that's only in Ukrainian. Same thing with the I with the diaresis on it, things like that. Some of the letters found in Serbian and Macedonian are also found in other Slavics that might now be currently written with a Latin script, but if you're reading older things, that were still written with Cyrillic. So let's go to our next one now. Any thoughts? Any guesses? I'm hoping this one would be easier. And, okay, yeah, this is a session. Honestly, if you ever see this AE digraph, it's a session. It's the only language in any of the Cyrillic using languages that has it. Some of these other digraphs aren't really actually digraphs, but they are sort of considered individual letters. The gay with the hard sign is R, so across it's R, J, and Z, which have now just become J and Z now. And then when you see the hard sign after these letters, those are the ejective consonants, except for the Ch, because Ch plus hard sign equals K, the letter Q, essentially, in IPA. So, that's a session. Now let's see what our next round is. This one's crazy, I know, so I'll give you a couple seconds.
seeing all these letters that aren't in standard Cyrillic. Oh no, what are we going to do with these? Really, just think about how weird it is. 3, 2, 1. Caucasian. Yeah, a little bit more obvious than you think. The Caucasians are crazy. And yes, I've been working with Caucasians now, but they're still just a mess, and they have so many strange sounds, so then trying to adapt Cyrillic to cover all their sounds takes a lot of digraphs, a lot of creation of new letters and things. And actually one thing I'd like to look at quickly is languages of the Caucasus. This is why I didn't put Tajik with a session under Iranian, because I wanted to look at this as a regional thing. So the thing that's really distinctive about languages in the Caucasus is that they contain these ejectives. They also have some other really strange sounds, and I'm not going to get into all of them. But let's look at just the ejectives. These are just the ejectives in languages in the Caucasus. You'll see that in a session, ejectives are marked by a hard sign following the consonant. Whereas in Abkhaz, ejectives actually, and I had to add a couple in here, the regular K, the regular P, the regular T are actually the ejectives. And then K with the soft sign actually labializes it. Or no, it palatalizes it. So this is an ejective with the palatalization on it. And then the upside down E, the schwa, is labialization. So this is an ejective with labialization. So it's funny to see how in Abkhaz, their mindset when looking at orthography is that the standard, the base form, is the ejective, and then the modified forms would be the aspirates, or whatever, the aspirated ones. What I do find interesting in Kabardian and in Avar and in Chechen, they have this letter, and it's called a palochka, which is the thing that looks like a capital L, or a lowercase l, or a capital I. That marks the ejective feature in their letters, which I think is interesting. Alright, let's go into the next round, which is... Any thoughts? This one might be a bit easier for some of you who watch these videos, because I know you. Alright, in 3, 2, 1... Bam! These are Central Asian, and you'll see here I put in Tajik, even though it's also Iranian. But a lot of the Central Asian languages do have similar sounds, and they're written similarly, I guess, because it's sort of that region they all picked the same idea. So like in Tajik, this is R. This is the final E. That's why it only has the lowercase here. And it carries the stress. So like Tajiki, instead of Tajiki, Tajiki. And that would be the final E. And then a K and a O and a H and a regular H and a J. And then you'll see these Turkic languages that still use it. At the bottom you have Turkmen and Uzbek. They both also actually use Latin now. But Cyrillic is really used alongside Latin these days, still in Turkmenistan and in Uzbekistan. And I'm not going to go into the details of all these because we don't have too much time. But let's look at our last group here, which is one singular language. Honestly, just because I didn't want to go through all the dialects of it. Any ideas? Guesses? I know it looks similar to some of them. You think, oh, this could be a Turkic, but this is Mongolian. Not all of these symbols are used in all three major dialects of Mongolian, but I just figured it was easier to group them together, especially since I am no expert by any means.
Alright, so I hope that was informative and helpful for all you guys. Let me know if you like it, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next week.